about you, Stephen?
Well, I'm an action-inspiring figure who is engaged in the act of leading to serve, help, and inspire people to lead a fulfilled life and transform into inspirers of change who build and improve people's lives and their organizations as well. I'm also a media practitioner. I'm the founder of Support Media Limited. You see, we actually respond to traumatic events differently as people. It's more of like pain. For example, less pain can be mild to me, and mild pain can be severe to you. Same as trauma as well. So a number of them, it could be. I'll give an example. Let's say in my own experiences, after I underwent sexual abuse, because I was sexually abused when I was 12 years old, and when that happened that I started having failing to concentrate in school. My academic performance was affected, and also I had also this hardship in terms of sleeping and eating. So I had some disturbances in my sleeping habits as well, and also even activities that I used to love doing. For example, I used to play football. I all of a sudden I isolated myself from people, and I stopped even playing football as well. All of a sudden, I failing to even clean my house as well, even just washing my own clothes. You know, you're always having this persistent depressive mood because of what happened. You're having flashbacks of the things that happened to you, and also these are the people that you find that they are easily startled. You know, frightened, you're always at guard, trying to protect yourself, even if there's nothing harmful around you, you know, because you have these things that happened in the past, and you're still having flashbacks, thinking they will happen again, you know. So those are one of the symptoms. And take it upon yourself, say, this happened not because I wanted. This was an unwanted experience that happened to me. So once you accept, and then you're supposed to disclose to people. Let's say a family relative, don't do like what I did. You know, I didn't disclose to anyone because I was young and I was afraid and I was threatened. Yes. So if you are a child and you don't know what to do about it, tell it to mom, tell it to dad, tell it to a brother or elder sister or auntie. So this is what has happened to me. I've been sexually abused, or maybe I'm being physically abused, or maybe I've been bullied at school, you know, before it becomes worse. So that's the first step. Accept and tell it to someone else, and then from there, if it's intense, where it's severe, definitely you have to go to therapy and counseling sessions. I think that's where you can be treated fairly. With the experience and how you respond to what happened in your life, you know. So for example, as in for me, it took me time. So just because I'm not maybe having some flashbacks for a short period of time doesn't mean I'm healed. So it took me time. For example, for me, 10 years I had this. And the time when I confronted the same family relative who did this to me, I felt as if it was happening the second time again. After 10 years, imagine. So they don't just go away. You have to be committed to your healing. So number one is seek professional help. Or if not, try to find people who can guide you through, someone who can mentor you through. Okay, when you feel like this, you're not worthless, don't blame yourself because of what happened, you know. God loves you, you're not unloved. Stop feeling as if you're a burden, you know. That kind of care, it can also help you, but still, if the experience was very intense, like in my situation, because I've been through a number of traumatic experiences, so I was even given medications at Chainama Hills College Hospital. Yes, so if the experience is very intense, definitely you can't treat that traumatic psychological trauma on your own or at home. Definitely you need professional help. I think we have to sensitize so much in high schools, in universities, churches. You know, for example, in church, they think that if you go for therapy and counseling session, you are losing faith in God and you're putting faith in the counselor or the therapist, which is wrong. I mean, here is me with maybe cervical cancer. I need a doctor. Now, so following a doctor doesn't mean I don't believe in God, right? It's the same thing with mental health. You need these people to help you. So the more we talk about it, the easier people began to develop and have is that, okay, this is normal, it's not bad. And I understand where this thing is coming from. Back in the days, mental health was related to someone going mad. Yes. So whenever we talk about mental illness, we say, banafunda. That's why even Chainama, even if Chainama doesn't mean kufunda, people say Chainama means you are mad. You know, because they more of like condition themselves to say, whenever we talk about mental health, we're talking about people who is mad. I remember I was talking to one of the ladies to say she felt neglectful by her parents, and then she said I would need help, with counseling. And that was the time I was busy. I said, I can refer you to someone at China. And guess what she said to me? I'm not mad. I was like, no, it's not about you're mad. I'm trying to help you here to find solutions to your whatever you're going through. I was like, yes, but if that's the case, then I'll just wait for you to finish whatever you're doing, then I'll come back for therapy and counseling sessions. Just imagine. So which means we have to talk more about these things. And I think we need more also mental health facilities in our country. One of the common, let me focus on sexual abuse particularly, because that's the one which is common in our country. I realized that a number of people who've been sexually abused, so I'll give an example of a man or a child, let's say a boy child has been sexually abused. These are the people who in their adulthood, they end up becoming abusers, oppressors. So you find that vanakwatira vamdara mshamushe, and then mchikwati muja bakazi wao, every time whenever they're trying to have an independence, maybe in bed or wherever, the wife always feels as if she's been raped. She's even the styles that the guy is asking, they are always trying to more show of dominionship over the woman, and such becomes to even break the marriages. And some women, usually they just happen to decide to just hang in such a marriage for the sake of the children, because they don't want to open up. And the man is not doing this because he's aware of what he's doing. Some, they do this unconsciously because they have unresolved issues that happen in their childhood. And they need to heal from it because they haven't addressed what happened in their childhood. And that's how they can manifest. So I'll give an example. Let's say Ariel right now is in prison, right? Ariel, actually, he was sexually abused in his childhood. And now when you look at the things that happen in his adulthood, it's the reflection of what happened to him. Definitely. So that's what usually happens. But I'm not saying that everyone who has been sexually abused, they definitely happen to become abusers. But these are the common or possible outcome that usually happens. And we've seen this happening in our country as well. And then for the woman, if she has been sexually abused in her childhood, these are the ones who happen to have insecurities in their lives. And no matter how much they are treated better, they all feel as if they're being exploited by the man, Even in a relationship, trust issues, that's not too much, They're always afraid of just to giving in. So these are the kind of the effects that usually affect people once they undergo the traumatic experiences of abuse. And it is important they seek help as early as possible when such happens. I think it has to do with being there for people who are definitely in need. For example, it was hard for my family to be there for me because they didn't know what happened to me, and I was hiding it. So if the victim is hiding what happened, it becomes difficult for them to be shown the love that they deserve. So the families, they should try by all means first to spot the signs. Okay, that's why it's important that they are aware of the signs of these things when they happen. So here's an example. When I like to use my story as an example because it's practical that way. So when I underwent a number of traumatic experiences, number one, my academics were affected. And I remember Dad saying, "You want school," That was unusual behavior. I used to get my one, and all of a sudden what happened, They were supposed to get interested. What's really happened? Unlike just going direct to say, "Wambok Sure." So
mostly that's how parents,
definitely
react.
Yes. So if they lack that knowledge to say, there's no way that a child can just all of a sudden start getting low grades. There must be something that needs to be done in here. Talk to this kid, Is there anything that is going on maybe at school or home? Would you like to talk to me about anything that is bothering you or something? So this is a child. And to people who are old enough, these are people who just happen to withdraw from families, For example, when I was 16 years old, actually, I convinced my parents to start staying alone at the age of 16. Because I was running a studio, so I found a way to lie to them that I want to have a separate studio so that people can come in. Actually, the inspiration behind it was I started feeling as though I was a burden to my family. So I wanted to put myself somewhere else where they should not be able to see whatever was going on, because I would find myself crying in the house, blaming myself because of what happened. I thought it was all my fault. So I had to put all the blame and the shame on myself. So these are people that usually they withdraw. They'll just start pulling away from friends and family. They are always alone. Sad. So those are the signs that people should know and pay attention to. Say, something is wrong about this person. Some people, they just resort to substance abuse. I'm not sure how much all of a sudden. Those who were already drinkers, Bankarawes. Those who never used to buy ambach all of a sudden. So those are the signs that people should know. I think there's something wrong here. It's not that chatting, maybe the group influence, we don't just start doing bad things all of a sudden. There's always a motive behind any behavior.
Sure.
So those are the things that, family members should pay attention to so that they can be of help. Otherwise, it becomes worse. And it's hard for a person who is a victim to open up without, anyone showing a concern. So whenever I write, I would see myself, speaking in front of people. This started way back when I was in high school. Whenever I'm writing, I would see myself, in front of people, speaking the things I was writing. So it's more of like a vision that maybe I would say God was trying to show me that this is what you were born to do. Sure. Yes. So I started, putting all the pieces together, things that I write about. Because even this book, I started writing it in 2020. It was not, the initial was not like it was going to be a book. No. It was an article. Yes. So from article, I realized I kept on adding things, adding, and she was like, wait a minute, this is a book. This is a book. So until I started now researching, and asking professionals, people who have gone ahead of me, the psychologists, this is what I want to publish, what else do I need to improve, I've also asked pastors, because this book is both psychological and spiritual as well. Okay. So I say, what else can I add here? What am I missing here? So these people started advising me, and that's how I ended up coming up with this book. And I interviewed 3,000 people in Lusaka as well, just to to ensure that I don't base my knowledge on alone on my lived experiences alone, or obtain knowledge by means of study, but I wanted also to hear other people's perspective on the subject as well. I think this month means to me a month where the world of Zambia should speak up. No one should be quiet about what is going on around the country. And it's a month that I always see to it that people should be involved. No one should be since I've never had any suicidal thoughts, I think it's none of my business. Definitely. And if you're not part of the solution, you are the problem. Definitely. So those are the things that I always see to it, that everyone should be involved and take part in, raising awareness, in terms of suicide prevention, and people to understand that this is not an act of, or it doesn't mean that if you are suicidal, it means you are weak or something. It means that you are human. We are prone to a different number of things. You can be sick. You can undergo maybe a bad experiences which can, subjugate you or press down, into your mind, spirit, and so. And you definitely need someone to be there to help you, to show some kindness to a stranger or something like that. I think that's what this month is all about. It means to me, I think. That's why my vision is to destigmatize suicide in our country, so that people understand, like, wait, this is not just about demons. And doesn't mean that if you're suicidal, it means you are unholy. No. Elijah in the Bible, he was suicidal. He said he went to God and said, God, take my life. I'm tired. I'm no better than my sister. So there are such moments in life. And you need to accept and say, okay, I'm human. I'm not God, I am human. And there's moments which I need help. I realized it was also good for me to actually go around to see what is also on the ground. Despite the challenges, it helped me to know where to start from in terms of writing the book as well. So there are a number of answers which this book actually answers. That's very true. You don't have to be a victim to be concerned about suicide, just because this is not a book written for those who are victims, It is for those who never had suicidal thoughts and they are concerned. They want to help other people. Like I said, if you're not concerned, you are the concern. If you're not part of the solution, you are the problem, definitely. So I was trying to help you just understand it. This is for Zambians to understand and be able to be that caring, kind, and help a stranger to someone who is suicidal. So it's not only about you, but even the person next to you.
It's not about the launch. It was this month?
Yes, it was. The book was released on the 10th September, about Suicide Prevention Day, and then we had the book launch event on the 17th.
Okay, how was it? How easy was it to bring people together, to advertise, everything? How was it?
It was hard. It was hard. Sure, how much I'm serious about this topic, and me putting all the pieces together. It was good. However, I didn't do it all alone. I had a number of people who came in, ushers, the media guys, from my team, and it was successful.
To someone who will read this book, what do you want them to learn?
That's a good question. So, number one, I realize that most of the times we talk about suicide without understanding why suicide is happening. So I would refer to one of the quotes that I love by one of my mentors called Miles Monroe. He said, "Where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable." So I would like to borrow his philosophy in this man to say, where the cause of suicide is not known, death by suicide in our country is inevitable. And it is impossible to effectively prevent suicide without understanding the cause. I'm telling you that in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll lose many people to suicide unless we understand why this is happening. That's why I entitled this book, Why People Die by Suicide. Because we have to start with the why is this happening, and then now let's prevent it, and now let's heal from here. So number one is about helping people to understand why. So once you start reading this book, it will give you that understanding. And this person is about to take his or her life because he's thinking like this. So now, by having such insight or understanding, it will give you the better platform or good position where to start from to help the person, because you know how I'm thinking. So let's do something here just for demonstration. So maybe you can pick this one.
Okay.
Yes. So what's your heading on that?
This is my rationale not to end my life today or any other day.
Okay, definitely. So my head title here is, "This is my rationale to end my life today." Okay. So now, these are the things based on my survey. Okay, so what you have there, it is according to 1,000. How many people there written?
1,376.
Those are the people who never had suicidal thoughts in their lives. Okay, mine here, it's about 1,419 out of the 50,000 people who passively and actively consider suicide. So what should be representing, those are the people who, those are the kind of thoughts and feelings those people were identified with. And mine here, these are the people who consider suicide. So whatever I'll be reading, these are the thoughts and feelings that these people were identified with. Okay, so now, why people die? That's more of like a distorted perception, about themselves. So I'll start. My rationale to take my own life today is because I am unloved. Now, to you who has never considered suicide, why can't you take your own life today?
Okay, my rationale to not end my life today or any other days because I am loved.
Okay, definitely. So you see the change, right? Now, number two, I am lonely. Even when I am with my friends and family members, I feel lonely. What about you, number two?
I am alone. I am alone when I am alone. I still don't feel lonely.
You see the difference, right?
Yes.
And number three, I feel like I'm a burden to my family. I don't belong here. How about you, number three?
I belong here. I don't feel like I am a burden to my relatives or friends.
And here is the fourth one, which is the most, the common one, is I am worthless. I am not worthy. How about you?
I am worthy. I am not worthless.
Oh, number four, how about you? I am hopeless.
I am hopeful.
I am helpless.
I am helpful.
I am purposeless.
I am purposeful. I have a reason to live.
You see the difference? So those are the people who they always they face their future with anticipation, and these are the people who face their future with apprehension. That's the difference here that was happening. So I was like, wait a minute. So for you to help someone who is suicidal, you need to understand how this person is feeling and thinking, because whatever you say, it will be pointless, because you don't understand how I'm feeling right now. You don't understand what I'm thinking right now. So with this understanding, it will definitely help you to say, okay, so this person feels unloved. So which means, how am I going to help this person? Number one is to show that I love this person. And how can I show it? Okay, you show your concern, be there, is there anything that you'd like to, talk to me about, you show that you care, and that will definitely change that person's perception. They say, oh, there's someone who really loves me and cares, okay? So this is why people die by suicide is all about. Now, that is just understanding. Now we go to the next part, which is prevention.
Yes.
So after all these things happen now, it will lead to life destruction. What I mean by this is that after I feel I am unloved, I feel as though I'm a burden, I feel hopeless, I feel helpless, I feel neglectful, I feel insecure, insignificant, and I feel fearful and suicidal, the outcome is life destruction, which means now at this point I'll consider suicide. And these are the people who maybe completed suicide, or maybe they will attempt suicide. Now, it could be passive or active. The difference between passive and active is passive is when you think of dying without any plan. For example, I wish God can just take my life right now. I don't have a plan on how I'm going to do it. I just want to
die.
Yes, I'm tired of living. Okay? I wish I was never born. Okay? I don't have a plan right now. But here is a person who is actively considering suicide. Okay? I want to take my own life. And I already have a plan of how I'm going to do it. Maybe I'm thinking of buying maybe pesticide, maybe, hanging myself or something. I have a plan. So that's active. So that's the difference between passive and active. So that will lead to life destruction and it to happen until that person is prevented. Now, prevention is an act. And suicide is an act as well.
Yes.
So prevention is only where you stop someone or to help you to change your mind. For example, I'll give an example. This is in the public domain. Moses, who climbed the tower recently, right? Yes, that guy that was active. Yes, that is active suicide ideation. He even climbed the tower, right? He was about to do it. Now, prevention is having him climb down, and that's what happened. That is prevention. Now, after prevention, there is an aspect which we call liberation from suicidality or healing from suicidality, and that's what this book is all about. Just because I prevented you from suicide doesn't mean you are safe. You need to now.
Do it again.
Definitely, it will come back to you again. Just like the children of Israel, after they were Pharaoh let them go. God said. God had to take them for 40 years, 40 nights, go around, and that journey was about less than 40 days, right? Yes. And God said, if I think Exodus 13:17, it says, when Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country, though that was shorter. Why? Because God said, if they face adversity, pressure, hardships, oppression, or perhaps depression. So what happened is, if they face war, that's what God said then. If they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So what happens is, if I prevent you from suicide, there's a possibility that you're going to go back until you are healed. And that's what happened. Even Moses, I believe that Moses had to seek professional help. Otherwise, there's a possibility that man can go back to that. So that's what happened. This is biblical. And what happened to these people? They complained in the wilderness.
Yes.
Oh, take us back, They complained until they died in the wilderness. Even God was there providing everything they wanted. But because they were not mentally liberated from Egypt. Yes, so that's actually what happens. You need to be healed from suicidality, because prevention is not healing.
There's more.
Definitely. And that's what this book will definitely help people understand. So it will help them understand why. You understand why.
Yes.
And how you are thinking, like we just did here. And then you definitely know the measures on how you can prevent suicide. And then now, how do you help or heal from suicidality? Now, you can help someone, or you the person maybe in need of that healing as well.
The last remarks as we come to the end of the show.
Well, I would like to go back to our first discussion about trauma. Number one is, if you've been through any traumatic experience, remember that whatever happened in your life, it was not your fault. It becomes your fault when you make it your fault. No, and don't blame yourself whatever happened. Accept it. And if you need to forgive people that wronged you, it's the time to do it. The Bible says if you forgive, which means the resentments go away, to let go. However, if you don't let go, which means you are holding on to those things that happened to you in your childhood or adulthood. And seek professional help if you are in a position where you can't get over what happened to you. Or talk to someone if you have to, because you cannot do this alone. I tried to do it on my own. I failed, and I nearly attempted suicide at the age of 16 because I wanted to hold on to these things for a long time. So I am encouraging you, by all means, seek help. Talk to mom, talk to dad, talk to your wife if you have to. If you've been sexually abused and you know that these things have been happening in your marriage, talk to your wife to say, the reason I'm behaving like this, I think I'm suspecting that what happened to me in my childhood is what is happening right now, and I don't know what to do about it. She can be of help to you. Talk to your brother or sister. Just don't keep it.
A colleague.
Yes, actually, by this I'm talk to a trusted friend, not anyone.
Not anyone.
Yes, definitely. So I think those are my closing remarks. And always remember that you are loved and you are cared for. You are worth it. You are hopeful. God loves you so much. You have something special that should be shared with the world. You never feel as if you are a nobody. You are a somebody, and people are looking up to you.
I love that.